To ABC 15's Jason Valentine now, who's in that warning spot Amber mentioned, I-17 and Indian School.
And Jason, show us what it's looking like right now.
Things are still a mess, but they're getting better. As of just a few minutes ago, the I-17 southbound is now open. That's the traffic you see going just behind where we are now. But if you look across to the other lanes, look first under the Indian School overpass. There's still a little bit of a puddle. That's the northbound lanes. There's still a little bit of a puddle they're working on cleaning up. The street sweepers, ADOT told me, are still coming through to clean that area up. And then this white car that's on the back of the tow truck, they still need to move it out of the way. It was covered with water and flooded when the water was all the way up and covering this entire area, all the lanes of the I-17. I want to take you to some video we shot just about an hour ago. We've seen two other cars pulled out of the water and towed away just since we've been here. Like I said, this was an hour ago that this huge puddle was still right under that Indian School overpass on the I-17, and no telling how many other cars were taken away before we got here. And now I want to take you even a little further back. This is the freeway flooding that had the entire I-17 closed in both directions from Camelback to Thomas. This is a look at rush hour from Air 15, and really the situation on the northbound really isn't much better. Even though they're close to opening it, still back at Thomas, there's huge backups of that traffic trying to get northbound on the I-17. And if we can come back out here live with a look at what's going on right now, like I said, right there, they need to move that car. And if we look back just a little further, there's the sweepers. They have a little bit more work to do with those. But ADOT telling me they're hoping to get both sides of the I-17 open within the next 10-15 minutes. So things are improving. But I can tell you on a side note, we had to take a lot of side streets to get here just because the traffic's so backed up. There's so much water on all the streets. We didn't see any that didn't have at least a couple inches of standing water, guys.
I'll say, and then that shot of the car behind you, you could still see the water coming out of the inside of it, dripping down onto the ground. It's an incredible scene out there, pretty active. Jason.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason.
I didn't know if you were, yeah.
Well, yeah, we could see that here at home. That is just wild. Thank you.
All right, more team coverage now with ABC 15's John Erickson.
And John, you made quite a few pit stops during your trek in the far North Valley.
Katie, here on 14th Street near Carefree Highway, it is closed. The road just behind us here still flooded. Of all the rescue scenes we stopped by today, this one by far the most dramatic. A man was in his car on this road when the waters rushed it away. Luckily for him, some good Samaritans were right here too. He'd washed away. His gold Mercedes hurried through the desert by a flash flood with him in the driver's seat. One of the good Samaritans there to help was young Marcos, only been alive for 12 years. But Marcos helped make sure this man stayed alive.
The car started turning this way and took the car all the way across.
And so it turned into a foot race against the river, chasing the current to save a stranger. And it worked.
The guy went out of the window on the roof and jumped out. And he hanged on to a tree branch. And there were two guys that got him from there.
Marcos right there too.
I was trying to help him, so I grabbed onto his hand and pulled him across.
You grabbed onto his hand and pulled him up onto land? Mm-hmm. Nearby, more Good Samaritans helped a woman escape this flooded Cadillac. And on a street that has its own flood rig, Wendy Coons watched the waters rush in, trapping her. Like a wall of water?
Yeah, just vroom, started coming. It happened so fast. I mean, you really don't have time to make a lot of decisions.
She was stuck until a tow driver pulled her out. The Honda nearby, not as lucky. But at least we can see the Honda. The neighbors who watched the Mercedes wash away have no idea how far it floated after the driver escaped. Within just about a mile radius of where we are now, there were 4 different scenes of either a water rescue or at the minimum a car stuck in the water. Luckily, no one was hurt in any of them up here, and I did receive late word tonight that the man's Mercedes that floated away has been found. Quite a far ways, though, out into the desert, guys.
Shows you how strong that water is.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.